Hello and welcome to this October-November 2014 paper 11, and we're currently working on question 12, which, looking at the diagram we're given, is a vectors question. Now in our instructions written we are given that OA is vector A, OB is B, OP is a scalar function of OA, and OQ is a scalar of OB, which is represented by mu and lambda. So the question part 1 asks us A to Q. So we always try to go through the origin if possible. So we are going through AO plus OQ. In our question we are given OA is equal to A, so opposite way around is equal to negative A, plus OQ, which is a scalar lambda OB, and as you can see OB is given as B, so it's negative A plus lambda B. Now part 2 asks us to find out the vector of BP. So that's very similar. We're going through the origin again, so we've got BO plus OB. And as given in our question, OB is the opposite of OB, so we've got minus B plus OP, which is mu OA. And OA is given to us as vector A, so we've got minus B plus a constant multiplied by A. And those are to our two solutions for part 1 and part 2. Part 3 gives us some new information. It tells us that this intersection point R in the middle of our diagram has some certain distances where the distances are a ratio. So we've got 3A R is equal to AQ. And I'm going to write that just so that AR is the subject. We've got AR is equal to 1/3 of AQ. That might help us, that might not, we'll just see. Then we've got 8 BR is equal to 7 BP. Same thing again, I will write BR in terms of as the subject, so it's 7/8 of BP. And our question asks to represent OR in terms of A, B and lambda. So we can go through O to R, we can go through A, then A to R. So we can go OA plus AR. And as we've seen, OA is simply A plus 1/3 of AQ, as we've just rearranged our equation, 1/3 of AQ. And A to Q we worked out in part 1 of the question. So we've got A plus 1/3 of part 1 of our question, negative A plus lambda B. Which then becomes A minus 1/3 of A is 2/3 of A, and then 1/3 of lambda B. Now part 4, very similar, asks us OR in terms of A, B and mu this time. So we're going to be going the other way. So we've got OB plus BR. Now we know that OB is equal to B, and we've said earlier in our introduction that BR is equal to 7/8 of BP. Now how does that help us? That helps us because BP we worked out in part 2 of this question. So we've got B plus 7/8 of negative B plus mu A, which equals B minus 7/8 of B is 1/8 of B plus 7/8 of mu A. So there we've got our two equations for OR and OR. And part 5 then asks us to find mu and lambda. Well, we can look at the coefficients of A and B and put them equal to each other. So for A, we can put 2/3 equals 7/8 of mu, and for B, 1/8 equals 1/3 of lambda. So we're just looking at the coefficients. So cross multiplying, we end up with 8 times 2, 16, 7 divided by, so it's 21 equals mu, and then the same thing, 3/8 equals lambda.